Okay, hello and welcome. My name is Ugochukwu Chukwu. This is the TAFFD Feature Discussions podcast. On today's podcast, we'll be discussing the TAFFD magazine that we are successfully, after long work and also after a lot of efforts and collaborative work from different members of the team, we've been able to put together and we are presenting to the world today. So TAFFD, just quickly, TAFFD is a think tank organization whose vision is to engage over 3 billion persons in meaningful discussion about the future of our species. And these discussions cover diverse disciplines, and it's aimed at generating creative ideas with workable solutions. One of the ways we desire to drive these futuristic discussions is through our annual magazines, which also features different brilliant minds from different sectors, different fields. And we are happy, very much happy to announce to you this year's launch magazine. I'm very happy to welcome to today's show, Dr. Sarita Sharma. She's the editor of TAFFD Magazine, and she will be sharing with us key ideas from this year's magazine, as well as its socio-economic benefits and how we can all benefit from this year's magazine. So without further ado, I would like to welcome you, Dr. Sarita, to TAFFD Feature Discussions podcast. You're welcome, man.
Thank you so much, Chukwu.
Okay,
It's
thank
a
you.
pleasure to be featured on your podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sarita. It's a pleasure. It's my pleasure too. So let's delve right in. So the TAFFD, we've really done a lot of work, especially you and your team. You've done a lot of work in trying to bring fascinating ideas together that we are going to be providing to the society, and which I hope will be transforming making a lot of impact in the society today. So I'd like you to talk to us about the vision behind this year's magazine. What it is that is the vision that is behind this year's magazine.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me begin with the theme of this year's edition. It is healthcare, longevity, and post COVID society. So, healthcare, as we all know, is important at every aspect of our lives. So, we cover that, and automatically, when we talk of healthcare, we talk about longevity because uh, if the healthcare is not covering longevity, if it is not really helping us to live a better and long life, then I think it is not of much use. So then again comes the post COVID scenario, which we are all living through. So this year's edition had to cover that as well. So these are the three main issues that we focus on in this year's edition. Uh, we have more than 30 articles from different sectors of the society, from people working in different areas, different subjects, researchers, scientists, writers, students, homemakers. So we have everyone putting in their bit, everyone putting in their own ideas and inspirations behind the articles. And we have covered areas as diverse as counseling, economics, biotechnology, there is artificial intelligence, futurism, transhumanism, there is literature, there is gender issues. So, starting from economics to politics to social to healthcare, everything is encompassed within the pages of the magazine. And as I have always been telling it, I love calling the magazine a transdisciplinarian's delight. We are not just one particular branch of knowledge, we are transdisciplinary in our approach. That is a vision that we had since the very first edition, that we always wanted to walk along with everyone else. We did not want to leave anyone behind. We did not want to leave any aspect of knowledge that is there to be covered behind. So we believe in a very transdisciplinary approach. I think that's the vision that TAFFD also has. And the magazine is just an extension of the belief of the vision that we at TAFFD follow. So this year's edition too, like last year's, is a transdisciplinary approach to a better life, a better society, better humanity for every one of us. So that is how I see the magazine. I see the magazine as a big umbrella wherein all of us are sheltered in that we talk about the future in a very transdisciplinary, in a very futuristic manner. And there is something for everyone inside the pages of the magazine. Yes.
All right, fascinating. That's very interesting. So you've mentioned, you've touched a little bit on some of the major topics that are in the magazine, but I would like to know what are the main topics that really stand out for you, and in what ways do you think that they can really impact on people's lives, especially with the current happenings in our society today?
My main criteria when I started accepting articles was that it should reflect a part of the society. It should also reflect the vision that TAPS is at. So if you ask me which of these articles are very, very important, I would not be able to say that, okay, this article is more important than the other one, because as I already said, we are a very transdisciplinary approach. So I cannot say that this is more important than the other, but yes, if you have, if you ask me to make a selection, then I think going by the present scenarios, there are a few articles which I have put on the cover page, the titles which I have put on the cover page. So there is one by Tom Ross, which is the open source mode that's on artificial intelligence and how we humans and artificial intelligence can work together in tandem. In tandem, I think that is very important for us to realize that AI has already entered our lives. We cannot say no to it, right from the refrigerator that we use, which is temperature sensitive, to cleaning robots and dishwashers. I think AI has already entered our lives and we cannot say no to it. But we can determine to what extent we can let it use our lives, or to what extent we can make use of it in order to make our own lives easier. So, in tandem, that is what I said. So that is one topic which I felt, which I feel is extremely important for us in the coming days, because uh, AI is going to capture the market like nothing else. So we have to be prepared for it. We have to know how to use it to our own benefit. So that is one article which stands out for me. Another one is by Brent Ehrman, which talks about poverty in the world. So and how we can address the situation. So poverty is a burning, raging problem for all of us around the world. Talk of Africa, talk of India, talk of Bangladesh, talk of all these developing nations. Poverty is something which is all around us, and we cannot turn a blind eye to it. So I think that is another very, very important topic that has been covered in the magazine. The other, which I would say, is one article by Bijoy Majumdar, which is Fear as the New World Order. So, fear has become a terminology which is life crippling for so many of us. We saw what happened to every one of us in the post COVID scenario, how fear, literally crippled us from doing so many things which we wanted to. Fear of death, fear of losing our near and dear ones, fear of being handicapped for the rest of life. So, fear, I think, is one aspect of human life which has always stopped us from achieving our best or from doing our best. So I think that is again another very, very relevant article. And of course, yes, how can I forget the TABS exclusive with Professor Natasha Bittemore? That is one interview which every one of us should read, about the humane in technology, about transhumanism, and how transhumanism is going to change the future if used in the right way. So these four articles, which I put on the cover page, I would like to say are, if you would want to read, if you want to make a selection of what to read first, then I would suggest you read these four articles first and then move on to the other articles, because each and every article featured there is a work of research, not only on the part of the writers, but also on the part of the review editors. I personally looked into all the articles and made sure that they reflected what we are as TABS, and that it was good enough to go into the magazine. And apart from that, we have small poems. We have these astounding photographs, which I just want to see it on big screen and in hard copy. So I think that is again another USP of the magazine. And yes, the nominations, which talk about remarkable achievements by people from across the globe. So everything, I mean, from the very first page to the very last page, the magazine is a must read for all.
Interesting, interesting. I can almost view myself like getting a copy of the magazine, like grabbing a copy almost already. It's really watering. That's all right. So let's get on. We at TAFFD, the vision of TAFFD is really surrounding around discussing about the future, and we're looking at it. We usually look at it from a transdisciplinary perspective. So we're looking at diverse sectors and how they are impacting the future of us as a species. Now, but we cannot talk about the future without looking at the socio-economic benefits that are within the items or the issues that we have been discussed. So so looking at the magazine of this year, what are the socio-economic benefits you think that they can really profile to the solutions solutions that we have to today's problem and also to that of the future, because the magazine is called the magazine of the future. So let's look at the socio-economic benefits that one can really get from delving into some of these ideas.
Yes, yes, that's an interesting question, Chuku. And the socio-economic impact of the articles inside the magazine is huge, I would like to say. Because if I talk about an article which is written by a principal of a very reputed school in India, he talks about parental support in times of crisis. This is a very short line of consisting of 4 or 5 words, parental support in the times of crisis. But it has so much of socio-economic value in it. Because what is economics? Economics is ideas transformed into reality. So today's ideas are going to be tomorrow's reality, and that is how we are going to achieve that socioeconomic success that we are trying to look at. So I think if we are talking about today's children and how to raise them up in a crisis-torn situation, I think we are doing a lot of service to humanity and a lot of service to the social economic needs of the society. So that is just one article that I mentioned. There is another one. Uh, it's an article on the psychological counseling that helps students to take up the kind of courses that they are meant for in the 11th and 12th grade. So I think that is another very, very important article because, I don't know about other countries, but in India, we have a system wherein a child who does well in the 10th standard is expected to take up science, physics, chemistry, maths in the 11th and 12th grade. And that is how we sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes we just force the children into taking up a branch of study which they are not very good at. So this article very clearly points out the psychological benefits of having a one-to-one with the children and trying to find out what they're really good at and how to help them in taking up subjects in the 11th and 12th standard. Apart from that, there is article on gender issues and how women can empower themselves uh, socioeconomically in a post-COVID society, which has again demanded a lot from them. Uh, in terms of giving up already which they had acquired, maybe a little which they had acquired pre-COVID. So that article again is another one which is going to have a tremendous impact on the socioeconomic lives of women. Then there's this article on healthcare which talks about how healthcare can be improved. So that is again another article which, anyone who goes through these articles is definitely going to have ideas which will again transform into reality and they can benefit themselves from it and of course change the socioeconomic scenario of the society that they are in.
That's great. That's great. Interesting. So, a very main topic that you keep mentioning when you are talking about some of the articles in the magazine, something that really features very prominently is the issue of COVID. And so, from what I've seen, from the previews I've seen about the magazine, we see that COVID-19 and the world post-COVID. Topics on COVID-19 and how the world will look post-COVID are really featured prominently. And I think this will really help people in making sense of the kind of world that we'll be witnessing after now. So can you talk us through some of the main benefits you see people can really gain from reading these magazines, and some of the topics that really touch on a world of post COVID-19 and how people can really leverage some of these?
Okay. So as I was talking about these articles on gender issues and healthcare and counseling, and of course there is this poverty, the article on poverty and how to address that by Brent Elman. So all these are directly related to a post-COVID society that we have inherited. So these articles, there is so much to leverage from these articles. And apart from that, there is also another article on the role of developing countries and how and what they can do in a post-COVID situation to help the underdeveloped and developing countries. So again, I think that is another very, very interesting article where the writers have made the right kind of research when it comes to the kind of aids that the developed countries are providing to developing nations, and what kind of aid should actually be provided. So that is another very, very interesting article. So post COVID, as initially, I also was a little reluctant regarding the post COVID talks, but as the articles started coming in, we realized that, okay, we cannot not talk about post COVID because we're already living the situation. So we cannot ignore that particular stance. And so many of the articles I had to reject also because there was too much of post COVID, and there was too much negativity also. What I want to give people through these pages was, I was very I was determined about one thing, that let's spread some more hope, because we are already in a very hopeless situation. Because whenever I look around myself, there is healthcare, there is gender issues, there is poverty, there is this, there is that, there are children who have lost out on almost a year of their education. They are cooped up inside their homes. So whenever you look around, there is so much of depression and hopelessness. But at the end of the day, we have to live our lives. And if we live with positivity, we are going to help ourselves as well as the society around us. So that was one message which I had in mind that should go out through the pages of this magazine. So although we talk about the situation that post-COVID is, we look at reality, and we look at a brighter future from now on, at least where we can, walk together hand in hand and talk about solutions, not just problems, but solutions, and the hope that humanity future is still bright. That's what we wanted to do. Yes.
All right, that's very great. That's very great. So apart from the articles that are in the magazine and the topics that are being treated, are there other features of the magazine that you think people should be aware of? Things that are going around with the magazine, other features.
The entire magazine, as I said, Chukwu, from the first page to the very last, I'm so much in love with the magazine that I cannot really tell it apart. I mean, feature by feature, it's difficult for me to talk because the kind of designing that has been done on the magazine, the way the photographs have been used, the way the entire layout has been done. I can just, I don't have words to thank our CEO, Tom Roth, for having done this. I mean, he has done an exceptional work. And, you know, not only the articles are great read, but the entire magazine is such a feast for the eyes. The entire magazine is like, you could just look at it the whole day and not tire of it. So if you ask me what is the best feature of the magazine, I would say everything in it is good. Everything in it is best. You look at the poems, you look at the photographs, you look at the articles, you look at the layout. uh, Everything is marvelous, and yes, it is a must read for everyone.
All right, that's very interesting. So, what is your futuristic view about the magazine for next year? What do you think? What do you hope? I know we are not yet into 2021, but what are you seeing in the horizon of how the discussions are going to be shaped, and in what line they're going to be shaped.
I'm very hopeful that this year's edition will open up new avenues for very meaningful discourse and discussions on various subjects. We have touched on areas which are very, very pertinent for every one of us, and everyone needs to look at these articles with so much of interest because there is so much that we can take away from these articles. So I think I'm very hopeful of opening up a dialogue which is beneficial for every one of us with this edition. And yes, I'm already gearing up for the third edition. I already am thinking about the kind of topics that we can work on. And I'm a very positive person at heart. Whatever the situation may be, I believe in the power of humanity. I believe in the power of collaboration. I believe in the power of coalescing with each other. Combined minds, combined thoughts, combined strength can lead us to anywhere that we want to go. So uh, I can see a good future. I can see a bright future only if we have it in us to forget petty differences and come together as humanity, to forget the differences in gender, language, race, caste, and then embrace the whole of humanity. So the next edition might be a little different from what we have been doing till now. It may be more in tune with the humane that I always speak of, humane in the midst of relentless technology, as I say. So yes, stay tuned. There is so much more to come from us.
Wow, that's fascinating. Okay. Also, I get a lot of calls from people, and people are really expressing interest in contributing in the discussions that we are. That we are the party of discussion that we are calling for people to come and join us. So people are really interested in coming to join that discussion. So not for this year, we've already published that of this year, but for next year, if people really want to contribute to the magazine, uh, what are the criteria and what does it take to really come and join the TAFFD community, the discussion of the TAFFD community through the magazine?
Okay. So yes, get in touch with us. We have the website put up out there. There are email accounts. So get in touch with us. You can inbox me or you can inbox any of the members. What I'm looking for, what I always look for is passion in a person. That article could be on anything, on any of the socio-economic perspectives or any perspective, literature or science or anything. But I must see that passion in the write up. The person has to love what he or she is talking about. The person has to be convinced first of that. If I'm not convinced of what I'm writing or what I'm researching on, then I cannot convince you of it, Chuku. So that is what I don't go. I don't look at the biodata of who has submitted an article. I don't look at the race of that person or the country from which that person is coming from. What I look is what is there in the lines. What is there? What kind of words have been used? What's the passion there? And what message, importantly, is coming out of that particular article? So, so that is what I look for. So you are passionate enough. You want to write about anything. You are a researcher. You're a scientist. You're a homemaker. You may be anyone. Just write for us, come to us. If you have enough passion, you are there inside the pages of the magazine.
Right. Uh, that's great. Okay. So finally, how can people get access to this magazine, this year's edition? So where can people get the magazine and read? Yeah.
Yes. We'll be putting up the link on the website. It should be ready in a day or two. So before 12th December, the magazine should be put out there on the website, and hard copy will be supplied on demand. So all the information will be put up there on the website. So people should visit the website. They should try and join TAS also because it is a community which is only growing, and we need like-minded people. We need people to come and support our vision and walk hand in hand with us.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Sharita. It's been a great honor, talking with you and getting some of the ideas about the magazine. And I'm sure our audience are really pumped up now and are ready to go and feast their mind with the ideas and interesting and ingenious ideas that will be coming from this magazine. And I want to congratulate you and your team for the great work that you did to see to the success of this year's magazine. So thank you so much, man, for making it on today's Future Discussions podcast.
Thank you so much, Chukwu. It was an honor for me. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So, guys, you've had it all. So head on to our website, taffs.org. You would see the link in the description below, or anywhere on the screen. You'll see it somewhere. So just head on and get yourself a copy of the magazine. And don't forget to share with us some of the things, the ideas that really inspired you as you read the magazine, and some of the things that you think that are really insightful. Sure, you can write to us or email the editor-in-chief with some of the comments that you think that you have and that are fascinating for you. So we look forward to hearing from you, and we believe that the ideas from this magazine can really impact your life in a very positive way. So thanks so much for joining us on today's podcast.